Oh, folks. I know y'all have been waiting for this one ever since last night. I'm sorry I didn't get on it right away. I'm taking 3 classes this term, and for those of you that have never done like the whole online school thing, a lot of schools, and especially the school I attend, Strayer University, they don't do typical semesters. They do terms. And these are like 12 weeks of super intense classes. So you only take, you're full time if you take 2 per term, because then you're taking 4 per semester, which is typical for college. And in my case, I'm a glutton for punishment. And this semester, this term, I decided to take 3 classes. So I've got criminology, business law, and society, law, and government. And so it's like a lot of information all at once into my brain. So I have to like time my study periods exactly in order to get everything done by Sunday night so that I'm ready for the next week of classes. So it's like really, really intense. So my apologies that I wasn't able to get on this right away. But how about this motion from Kathleen Zellner, huh, kids? Whoa! I think one of the most beautiful things about this motion is that Zellner has effectively schooled the shit out of that judge. That motion is a piece of art, quite frankly. And anybody who says that writing isn't art, take a look at one of Zellner's motions, man. Let's have a little sip of chai. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, primarily because I haven't had an opportunity to really read through and like take my notes and shit. And god damn it, I'm out of ink and I'm out of paper on my printer. Otherwise, I'd just print all this shit up and highlight it, as is my usual. But haven't managed to get down to Office Depot yet. So let's take a look at a couple of things. And, you know, I'm going to minimize my camera and go over here and do this and that. Let's see, the actual motion itself. There we go. Let's see. Got some handwritten notes here. Page 2, you know, this is part of the reason why I love Zellner is she doesn't stand on ceremony. She straight up just goes right into it. And so on page 2, we've got here the falsity of the state's forensic evidence. And this is beautiful. Basically, she states 3 of the more blatant examples of the falsity of the state's forensic evidence are that the hood latch would have had to be opened 90 times by Mr. Avery to account for the quantity of his DNA extracted from the hood latch swab by the Wisconsin Crime Lab. See, kids, this is what I keep trying to tell you. I get a lot of people that are like, well, his DNA was here and blah, blah, blah. Yes, true. Okay, fine. I'll grant you that. But it's not just where the DNA was found. It is how much DNA was found, and what really is the linchpin here is the kind of DNA it is. Now, I've heard the sweat DNA shit. Don't fucking bring that shit to my door again. There's no such thing as sweat DNA. Sweat does not contain DNA. I don't know how many times I have to fucking say this to you people. Take a biology class. DNA comes from cells. Sweat doesn't have any cells. So the quantity of the DNA is really what's in question here, because if it's not the quantity that you would get from normally touching an object and then dropping it, then we've got a problem here, folks. That means that there's something fishy there. Somebody vomited in the petunias. It doesn't smell right. Another issue with this case is that no evidence was found where it should have been. You know, like in the bedroom where all that raping and killing and stabbing and throat slicing was supposed to happen. Not a fucking scrap of DNA. Not a scrap of blood. Not a scrap of nothing. How the fuck? Anyways, moving on. Number 2, Mr. Avery deposited 10 times less DNA on the exemplar key than what the Wisconsin State Crime Lab purportedly detected on the key police claim to have recovered from Mr. Avery's trailer. That is a real issue here, kids. This is basically stating that the Wisconsin State Crime Lab lied on their report. They lied on their report. Somehow this does not surprise me. The bullet which allegedly went through Ms. Halbach's skull is devoid of any bone particles which would have been present if the bullet had entered and exited her skull, as the state claimed on Mr. Avery's trial. Now, the thing is, kids, is it is impossible. Let me restate that. It is impossible for a bullet to have gone through a human skull and not have any skull particles on it. Not gonna happen. It is impossible. So for this magic bullet that suddenly fucking appeared in Avery's garage to appear with no skull fragments, nothing on it but wood and paint, that right there tells you that it's bullshit. And here's the other thing. The gun that the state claims was used to kill Ms. Halbach was a high-powered rifle, which would have resulted in through and throughs, meaning the bullets would have passed through her body. Where are the bullet holes in the garage? Y'all see any bullet holes in them pictures? Because I didn't. Anyways, moving on. As I rearrange things. You guys are so sweet. You put up with me and my ness so well. I swear. I know that I kind of like detract and I go off on tangents. So my apologies. I love you. Mwah. Besos. Okay, so down to page 3. If I can get my fucking computer to do what it's supposed to do. Moving right along. Dun, 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 dun. Page 3. Current post-conviction counsel is providing this court with new evidence which establishes that Ms. Halbach and her vehicle left the Avery property, that Bobby Dassey gave false testimony about Ms. Halbach and her vehicle not leaving the Avery property, that Bobby Dassey and Scott Taddock gave false testimony establishing the other's alibi. We knew this. That the Dassey computer contains images of Ms. Halbach, violent pornography, and dead bodies of young females viewed by Bobby Dassey at relevant time periods before and after the murder of Ms. Halbach. Let me state that again. That the Dassey home computer contained images of Ms. Halbach, violent pornography, and dead bodies of young females viewed by Bobby Dassey at relevant time periods before and after the murder of Ms. Halbach. In case y'all didn't catch that. Okay, kids, listen to me now and believe me later. I have no issues with porn. None. I know there's some women out there that get really pissed off about their husbands looking at porn and they feel like it's cheating on them. And I'm like, why? But, teach their own. Teach their own. However, let me just say this about that. Studies have shown that people who consume violent pornography, sooner or later, they feel the need to act on that the visual stimulation is no longer enough. Sooner or later, they have to commit these acts in order to get aroused. This is part of the reason why some pedophiles may not have started out as pedophiles, but most pedophiles are former pedophilia victims. And part of the reason of that is because during the grooming process that pedophiles use to get their victims ready to abuse them, they show them a lot of images of child pornography. at a very, very fucked up time in the kid's life because it's right, during their formative years. So the kid is viewing this stuff, and then once they hit puberty and they start, going forward into their own sexuality, they're really fucked up in the head because they viewed all of these images of child pornography. It's the only thing that can get them off. I'm not excusing pedophiles by any means. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying that, there's a connection. So for Bobby Dassey to be viewing violent pornography and images of dead bodies of women. Now, listen, people in my team and I, we view images of dead bodies every fucking day. It's kind of what we do. It's part of what we do in our wrongful conviction advocacy. We look at autopsy pictures, we look at crime scene photos, all that shit. That's a very different context from viewing violent pornography and dead bodies and beating off to it. What the fuck? So that right there, that hit me. That hit me hard. And I know that there are a lot of people that are getting upset that Zellner didn't give the family a heads up about this. Again, I don't know how many times I have to state this. She doesn't owe you true supporters anything. She doesn't owe you shit. Furthermore, I hate to say this, but beyond Stephen Avery and maybe Mama and Papa Dassey, she doesn't owe the family anything either. She's not their lawyer. She's Stephen's lawyer. She doesn't owe them a thing. Okay, this is how lawyers work. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings. I'm sorry, but I'm not here to make any friends. Obviously. But here's the part that got me. You guys can talk all you want about the Bobby Dassey revelations on what he's been watching or viewing on his computer. But here's the real bombshell. Here's the bombshell that hit me in the face. Page 3, link below, you know me. Page 3, that Mr. Avery did not set up the original appointment with Auto Trader to photograph Barb Janda's van. You fucking what when? As my peeps down under would say. Stephen Avery didn't set up the original appointment. Wait. I thought Wilbur said that Stephen Avery made the appointment, requested the same girl they sent last time, and then gave a false name, false name being B. Janda, to lure Teresa to the property. But if Stephen Avery didn't make the original appointment, that blows that part of Wilbur's case right out of the water, doesn't it, kids? Holy shit! I love this job. Okay, so now we're going to move from the motion over to the evidence file. Again, link below. You know me. You should by now, at least. Okay. All right. So let me do my handy dandy scroll work over here. Page 18 in the evidentiary file is the affidavit of Kevin Ramlau. Just maximize that because my blind ass can't see anything. Now comes your affiant, Kevin Ramlau, and under oath hereby states as follows: I am of legal majority and can truthfully and competently testify, blah, blah. Paragraph 2, in 2005, I lived near Mishicot, Wisconsin. I am familiar with the Taddock family because I am an acquaintance with Sean Taddock. Sean's brother, Scott, is now married to Stephen Avery's sister, Barbara. Paragraph 3, on November 3rd and 4th, 2005, I was in Mishicot. I saw Teresa Halbach's vehicle by the East Twin River Dam in Mishicot at the turnabout of the bridge as I drove west on Highway 147. Around midday on November 4th, I stopped at the Cenex gas station at the intersection of Highway 147 and State Street in Mishicot. While there, I saw and read a missing persons poster for Teresa Halbach. I remember that the poster had a picture of Teresa Halbach and written descriptions of Teresa and the car she was driving. I recognized the poster attached as Exhibit A to this affidavit as a copy of the one I saw at the Senex station on November 4th, 2005. Get this shit, kids. I recognized the written description of the vehicle on the poster matched the car I saw at the turnaround by the dam. Number 6, while I was in the Senex station, a Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department officer came into the station. I immediately told the officer that I had seen a car that matched the description of the car on Teresa Halbach's missing persons poster at the turnaround by the dam. Paragraph 7. In December 2016, I watched Making a Murderer. In the series, I recognized the officer who I talked to at the Senex station on November 4th, 2005. A photograph of this officer is attached as Exhibit B to this affidavit. Having watched Making a Murderer, I now know that his name is Andrew Colburn. After I watched Making a Murderer, I sent a text message to Scott Taddick. Having reviewed a saved copy of that message, I know that I sent it on December 12th, 2016 at 6:13 In the message, I told Scott Taddick that I had seen Teresa Halbach's car in Mishicot, blah, blah. I never heard back from Scott Taddick. Copies of the text messages conversation I had with Scott Taddick are attached as Exhibit C. So let me get this straight. There is a witness who can testify and has apparently that Teresa's car was located at a dam near Scott's property in Mishicot on November 4th. The car was logged into evidence on November 3rd. And on November 4th, Andrew Colburn spoke with this witness and never wrote a report? Really? Wow. That's pretty bad, kids. I don't know how you feel about this, but a lot of pieces are coming together. Just saying. All right. Page 29. Last one. After this, y'all can, I don't know, do whatever. I'm personally going to go and study some business law myself. This is a statement from Brian. Brian said, let's see. Brian said he heard from his mom and Stephen that Halbach was only at their residence about 5 minutes. So he heard from Barb that Teresa Halbach was only there 5 minutes. How did Barb know that? Was she there or did she just hear that from Stephen? We need details here, kids. He heard she just took the photo of the van and left. Brian said that the investigators should also talk to his brother Bobby because he saw her leave the property. So once again, we've got the issue of Bobby and his statement changing a minimum of 3 times. Then we've got Scott with his testimony changing. What was it that we counted? Like 4 times his testimony changed. We've got the cops talking to Barb. And remember, about a year ago, I was saying that I really wanted to get a hold of Barb's statement because I wanted to see what she had to say. Here's the thing, though, kids. Barb's statement is nowhere in the record. No transcription, nothing. What's in the Castle report is a report written by the officer, not signed by Barbara, and not transcribed from their original conversation. There's no transcription. It's just the officer's recollection of what Barb had to say, which I find really odd and very suspect. Because I have a feeling that Barb's testimony more closely aligned with what Brian and what's the other one? Not Brendan. I can't remember. Whoops. What Brian had to say, I have a feeling that her statement more closely aligns with that. So the question here, kids, is how far does this bullshit go? Now, I know that there's a lot of guilters out there that, like, when the shit hit the fan with the judge ruling and all that shit, they're like, we told you. And then, Zellner comes back with this, and now they're all talking shit again. And it's like, guys, I said this in an article that I recently wrote on BeTheRain.org, and I'll be writing more soon. It's just school's been really crazy. The guilters love to tell us truthers that we watched a television show and so we think we're experts. But the funny thing is that these same guilters watched a TV show too. The news. The news is a TV show. That's all it is. There's no research. I think we've proven by now that most news networks will do just the basic of fact checking. They won't like actually dig in and really look to see what is the cold hard fucking truth and what isn't. And as I've always said, and as I'm sure all of my truther brethren will say, if you can prove me wrong without being an asshole about it, if you can prove me wrong, bring me a piece of evidence that shows that I'm wrong, by all means. I'm not sitting here claiming that I know exactly what happened. What I'm pointing out are the fuck ups. So if you've got proof to the contrary of everything that I'm saying, by all means, furnish it. I'll be happy to take a look at it. I'll be happy to weigh it. And it will either confirm or deny my suspicions. And that's where you guys lose it. Sorry, guilters, I'm not here to make any friends. You guys lose it by being assholes, by coming at us and calling us names and talking shit, fatty, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'm fat. Whoop-de-fuck. I've given birth 6 times. You can't create 6 lives and come out of that shit looking like you did when you were 18. Sorry. I don't give a fuck. I'd rather be fat and happy than skinny and bitter. The fact is that if you have proof to the contrary, bring it to us. Show us. We're happy to look at what you have to say. We're happy to look at any proof you have. The breakdown comes from the name calling and the assholery and the bullshit and the unnecessary meanness, all of that. Now, I remember my second to last video that I did, I said something about the Ninth Circuit Court. Can't remember exactly what, I think I said something about the Ninth Circuit being where the appeal is. And a bunch of true supporters climbed up my ass about it. Although they didn't have the balls to climb up my ass personally, they just talked a lot of shit on some Facebook fucking page. She doesn't even have to. No, you know what happened? I was studying society, law, and government. That's my sociology class, and we were reading about the federal appeal courts, and my brain got all jacked up and shit. Like, you people have never made a mistake. For fuck's sake. I know your mother made at least one mistake that is clearly in evidence. Come on. So I made a mistake and I misspoke. Whoop-de-fuck. Like, you've never done that. God damn. You guys expect perfection, but you're not perfect yourselves. Until you can deliver perfection, quit climbing up other people's ass about their non-perfection. I'm just saying, and that applies to everything, not just this shit. That applies to everything. Just calm the fuck down. Drink some of that wine y'all bitches be so fond of. I'll be over here with my spiced chai. My husband got me addicted to this shit. The fact is that if you're a truther and you're a supporter of Avery, you need to back the fuck off of his attorney. She works for him. She don't work for you. She don't work for his family. She works for him. And it is her job. Now, I'm going to correct a misconception right here, right now. People seem to think that she's blaming Bobby and Scott. No, she's not. Nowhere in there did she say that they killed her. Nowhere. You want to know why? Because that's not her job to prove who killed Teresa Halbach. That's not her job. Her job is to prove that her client, Stephen Avery, didn't. And to prove that Stephen Avery didn't, it is her job to show other people that could have killed Teresa Halbach or whose statements were not correct or whatever, lines that the police did not follow. That's her job. She's not saying that Scott and Bobby had anything to do with this. She's just saying that they lied and the police didn't try to figure out why they lied. I'm still trying to figure out why the fuck they lied. Personally, I can't find any reason Bobby or Scott would have to lie, but lie they did. They did. I'm sorry. Again, I'm not here to make any friends. I'm here to point out things. So, the fact remains, it's not Zellner's job to coddle anybody outside of Stephen Avery. That's not her job. That's not what she's getting paid for. She's getting paid to get the state to realize that they've got the wrong man in prison, and she will use any and all means to do so. Any and all ethical means. There's a difference. She's not Ken Kratz after all. And I love Ken Kratz's tweet from yesterday morning. Today's the day. For what? Your Sports Illustrated football phone came in finally? For what? Exactly. Nice ambiguous statement there, Kratz. Jesus. The fact is, kids, is that Zellner's not saying that Bobby or Scott or really anybody, she doesn't have to prove who actually killed Teresa Halbach. I'm sure she knows who did. I'm sure she's got scientific evidence to prove that. That's not the point that's going on right here. The point that's going on right here is she's showing that there are lines of investigation that were not followed by the police, and some of them just so happen to involve Scott and Bobby. That's it. That's it. So I'm sorry if any of the true supporters want to climb up my ass about this, but here's a thought. Grow some fucking balls and come at me. Don't fucking talk shit behind your hands, away from me. Fucking come to me and tell me, hey, Casey, you got this part wrong. Or, hey, what about this point? Come to me. And here's a thought. Do it like a fucking adult and don't be a dickhead about it. Don't sit there and, hey, fat ass, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's a great way for me to go click, deleted. Come at me like an adult, tell me where I may have been off on something, and I'll gladly discuss it with you. I'll even film a video and retract my statement. I've been known to do this. Hello? It's not like I haven't done it before. Think a minute. Zellner knows what she's doing. The woman's been in law for many years, and being a lawyer, she knows she doesn't owe you a fucking thing. So her not producing her evidence for you to fucking run your little grimy paws through doesn't mean she doesn't have what she says she has, doesn't mean she doesn't have any proof. It just means that she's a lawyer and she's doing her fucking job, which, by the way, newsflash to most of you I know, does not include letting you all in on what's going on. That's not her job. Get the fuck over yourselves. Jesus fucking Christ. And if you were a true Stephen Avery supporter, Brendan Dassey supporter, you would get the fuck over yourselves and realize that to question Zellner's evidence, her methods, the fact that she's not fucking handing you everything you want on a silver goddamn platter is not her job. And if you were a true Stephen Avery supporter, you'd back the fuck off and let the woman do her job. She's got too much to do. And yes, I know Laura has told you that, Zellner doesn't write these motions. No, she doesn't. I'm not going to say that she doesn't write these motions. What I am going to say is that she doesn't write them alone. She's got paralegals and other lawyers and all that other shit. That's how the legal system works. That's how most lawyers work. Especially ones like Zellner that have giant fucking resources at their disposal. She's got paralegals researching legal precedents. She's got other lawyers researching this and that and the other and putting things together. But if you think that woman does not read through that shit and put her stamp of approval on it, you're smoking crack. That woman absolutely knows everything that goes out with her fucking signature on it, because it's not the paralegals reputation that's on the line. It's hers. And in the legal world, a lawyer's reputation is their bread and butter. It's how they make their living. You think she's going to stake her fucking reputation on a case she can't win? No, you're wrong. Sorry, you're wrong. It's just the point. You think she's going to put her name on something that she did not read through and that she can't argue properly in court? You're wrong. So yeah, she's got paralegals and all this other shit going into helping her put these motions and these briefs together, but she knows every fucking word of every line in that thing. All 54 plus pages. Trust me. Believe me on that. Laura's right in that, she doesn't write this all by herself. But the fact is that she does put her final stamp of approval on everything. That's just the way it works, kids. All right, now I'm going to go and study sociology because joy. I'm lying. I love sociology. I'm really excited about this semester. I've been having so much fun with it. I thought I was going to hate my business law class. Because it's very dry. It's torts and civil lawsuits and all that shit, which incidentally is hilarious. I was actually reading through my business law the other day, and I was remember when Wilbur threatened to sue me for slander? And the funny thing is that, had he gone to a, law school that wasn't endorsed by Cracker Jack, he would have known that he can't sue me for slander because, number one, I didn't make anything up. And number two, I was stating things that are actual court record, that are like OLR record. And it made me laugh because in order for him to file suit against me, he has to prove that I lied, that I didn't state something that had already been stated by somebody else. I have to make it up myself. So I was like, and you went to law school. I'm just in finishing my bachelor's so I can go to law school, and yet I know that you can't file suit against me for this. Okay, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
Oh no.
Oh no. So I'm going to go study some sociology. Don't forget to subscribe to me here on YouTube. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Mama Phoenix 6. Links below. You know me. If you've got an issue with anything that I've said in this video, go ahead and leave a comment down below. We'll have a debate. Just don't be a dickhead about it. Act like a fucking adult. And I love you all, and we'll see you soon.